Good morning everyone. Welcome to the commerce class. In the previous two lectures, we have discussed about the meaning of business environment, the components of business environment, the features of business environment, and the importance of business environment. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the components of business environment, that is, it is divided into micro and macro environment. Micro environment has two other factors, that is, it is divided into two parts, that is internal and external factors. On that day, we discussed about the internal factors of micro environment. Today, we are going to discuss about the external factors of micro environment. As this business environment contains two factors, that is micro and macro. Micro, we have studied that it specifies the specific environment and it affects the business environment directly. Whereas the macro business environment, they also affect the business environment, but they are called as indirect action environment and they affect the business environment indirectly. So let us discuss related to the external factors of micro environment. As we have done dimensions of business environment. The dimensions of business environment, it is divided into two parts. The one is micro environment and the other is macro environment. Micro environment is divided into two parts, that is the internal factors and external factors. The internal factors we have already discussed. There were several points. Let us revise it. We discussed about the mission and objectives of the firm, the corporate culture, the values, the beliefs, the systems which are followed by the business organizations. Then about its mission and objectives, we discussed about that what is the purpose of the business, for what it has been established. Then we discussed about the corporate, this composition of board of directors. Then we discussed about the power structure of the board of directors, then image of the company and brand equity, and the last point was human resources and other resources. Today we are going to discuss about the external factors. We have several points under this external factor. So let us discuss this. The very first point under this external factor of microenvironment, that is customers. Then we have competitors. Then we have suppliers. Then intermediaries. Then we have financials. These are the external factors of micro business environment. The external factors contains customers, competitors, suppliers, intermediaries and financials. One more factor it contains, that is, it also contains public.
Why not
Now let us discuss all these points separately. Customers. Now who are the customers? Customers are one who purchase the product of the company. Customers, they buy the product of the company. Now, do you know, it is not very easy to assess or find out the needs of the customers, because in today's environment the nature of the customers has absolutely changed. They are of volatile nature. Conventionally, it was very easy to find out the needs of the customers, but nowadays in this today's environment, competitive environment, it is very difficult to assess and find out the needs of the customers, because there are many options available in the market. They keep on changing, so it is very difficult to create the demand for the product among the customers. So in today's environment, the business concerns, they have to focus more and more on the needs and preferences of the customers. Then only they can survive in this competitive environment. Otherwise, they will have to quit out from the market. Conventionally, it was very easy to produce the product and sell the products and find out the customers, because so much of competition was not there. Very few business concerns were there. Less competition was there. So that is why whatever that was produced, it was easily purchased by the consumers. But the environment is absolutely different today. That is why it becomes very difficult for the business concerns, and it is very challenging also for the business concerns to find out the needs of the customers. But they have to focus. As it is said in marketing that the customers are the king. Business concerns, first they have to find out the needs of the customers, and then according to that they have to produce the products. It is not the producers that they will decide what they are going to produce. It is the customers, they are going to decide what the producers are going to produce, because they are going to produce according to the needs of the customers only. Then only they can satisfy their needs. And like television set, many producers are there, many companies are there. Now, who all are successful in creating the demand? Only those who are continuously scanning the environment, those who are continuously changing, making changes, increasing their functions. You can take the example of mobile phones also. Now you can see every now and then the things are changing. The tastes of the customers, that is changing. Previously we were having only a small mobile phone, but nowadays we are demanding for Android mobile. So these are the changes, the volatile nature of the customers. So it is very difficult to assess in today's environment, and the business environment, they have to be, business enterprise, they have to be very careful in scanning the environment. They have to forecast and understand the needs of the customers, and then only they should produce their product for their survival. Then only they can survive in this competitive environment. Otherwise, they will have to quit out. If you take an example of the paper industry or paper company, now who all can be the customers of the paper industry or paper company? Like, they can be students, teachers, educational institutions. So there are different types of customers. They can be individuals also, in groups also, institutions also. Different types of customers are there. So this is one of the most important factor of micro business environment, and it is taken as the external factors because they are outside they are prevailing outside the business environment. Now the second point is competitors. Now who are the competitors? They are, the competition is there in the market. Competitors are available in the market. The companies, those who are producing the same products, targeting the same customers, they are called as competitors. In today's, wherever you see, competitors are available in any type of products, even if it is a basic commodities or if it is a luxurious products which are produced and sold in the market, competitors are available. Now, the business plans its strategies, policies, programs according to the competition which is prevalent in the business environment. They will plan according to that only. They have to understand what are the strategies of the competitors. They have to understand what are the next step of the competitors, and this information they can collect only after the scanning of the business environment. Unless and until they scan the business environment, collect the informations from the external business environment, continuously scanning will help them in collecting the informations about the competitors. Now, there are different types of competitors. The competitors can be called as direct competitors. They can be indirect competitors. They can be replacement competitors. Now let us understand about these. A separate question can also be asked under this topic that is called as competitor in your board examination, like what is direct competitors, what are indirect competitors, and what are replacement competitors. So let us discuss all this in detail. What are direct competitors? Direct competitors are those competitors who are in direct competition, like those competitors, those companies, those who are producing the same product, selling the same product and targeting the same customers, but they are of different brands. As I gave you the example of television, like Sony company can have the competition with LG, can have the competition with Samsung, Onida. Many companies are available, many brands are available in the market. So they are in the direct competition. They are called as direct competitors because they are targeting the same customers, producing the same product, selling the same product. So they are called as direct competitors. I think this is clear to everybody. Now, indirect competition or indirect competitors. Indirect competition is between indirect competitors. Now, there is no direct competition with them, but still they are under the same category. They are not selling the same product or they are not producing the same product, but they are targeting the same customers. Likewise, you can take the example of Pizza Hut and Sing Burger. Now, Pizza Hut, they are providing pizza, and Sing Burger, they are providing burger. Now, you can say how they can be in competition with each other. They are producing different products, they are providing different products to the customers, but they are under the same category of fast food. So they can be in a competition with each other, but they can be, because they are satisfying the needs of the consumers. And they cannot be in a direct competition because they are not providing the same product, but they can be in the indirect competition because they come under the same fast food. Burger is also a fast food, pizza is also a fast food. Now, replacement competitors. Now, who are the replacement competitors? Replacement competitors are those competitors who has the ability, that is why it is also called as potential competitors. They have the potential, capacity and ability to replace the other brands, other products by their products. Now, how they can replace? Like take an example of smartphones and this digital cameras. Now the companies, those who are providing smartphones and the companies, those who are providing digital cameras, they are called as replacement competitors. Nowadays you can see that these are the two absolutely different products. Smartphones, they are for some other purpose, whereas digital cameras, the purpose is different, for clicking the photograph, for taking the photographs. But since the smartphones, they have the functions of taking the photographs also, so definitely the customers, they will purchase the smartphone. It will fulfill the purpose of talking also, communicating to each other, as well as it has the function of clicking the photographs also. So both the purpose are fulfilled. So definitely they will be called as a replacement competitors with each other, because the smartphones, they are replacing with their products, they are replacing the digital cameras. So we can take it as an example of replacement competitors. So this was under the competition. So as I have told you, this is one of the external factors of micro business environment, and any organization, if they have to survive, they have to scan the environment, find out the competitors, the strategies, the plans, the policies of the competitors, and they have to bring the best product to the market to survive in this competitive environment. Then only they can survive, otherwise they will have to be out of the market. They will be forced to be out of the market. Like you can take the example of this geophone. As when it came, other companies, the Idea, Airtel and all, they were in tough competition, and still they are in tough competition. They are competing. And many other companies like Uninor, Aircel, they were forced to sell out. And they were out of the market. They are out of the market. You can see all the situation. It is just the example of competitors. Now the next point is suppliers. Now the suppliers, who are the suppliers? Suppliers are the one who provide raw materials to the business concerns. Now for what the raw materials are needed? Raw material is one of the factor of production. It is needed to produce the products. These products, these inputs will be utilized to convert it into output. Now, the suppliers, they have to supply the products in time, means the raw materials in time to the business concerns. If the raw materials doesn't reach to the production department in time, that is going to hamper the production. So to maintain the regular supply of the raw materials, the business concerns, they are not only in contact with one suppliers, but they are in contact with many other suppliers of the same raw materials, so that if any problem arises with one supplier, they can be in contact with the other suppliers and they can arrange the raw material and maintain the free free flow of the raw materials and maintain the production level, because the products should be produced on time and they should reach to the market, to the consumers in time, because that is the most important objective of any business concern, to produce the product at minimum cost as well as to supply the product in time to the consumers. So that is very, very essential. So these suppliers, they supply the products to the, means the raw materials to the producers. The producers, they utilize those raw materials and produce the products. Likewise, you can take the example. In Maharashtra, you will see so many textile industries, because the cotton is produced. Cotton will be the raw material for these textile industries, so that the area is there for producing all those cotton. Cotton can be easily available in those areas. So that is why we can see so many textile industries in those areas. Here in our state UP, you will find so many sugar industries. Why we are having so many sugar industries? Because here we can easily get sugar cane, because sugar cane is a raw material for the sugar industries. So this can be the example of this suppliers. Now intermediaries. Now who all are these intermediaries? Intermediaries means the middlemen. Middlemen plays a major role in the distribution of products and bringing the product from the point of production to the point of consumption. The producers, they don't produce the products for their own consumption, but they produce the products for the consumers. They produce the product so that it can be sold to the different parts of the world, to different corners of the world. So that is their main aim. So who all are the helpers? These intermediaries, they help the producers in distributing the products and bringing the products from the point of production to the point of consumption. Now who all are there in between? The suppliers like wholesalers, agents, retailers, they are there to establish a link between the producers and the customers. It is very important to understand the link between, to understand the needs of the consumers. The producers must know. So these wholesalers, these retailers, they are in the direct contact with the customers. And the wholesalers, they are in the direct contact with the retailers. So these wholesalers, they collect the information from the retailers about the customers and they transfer those informations to the producers. So the producers get the feedback and then he modifies and make the changes in his production. And he gets success in satisfying the needs of the customers. So these wholesalers, these retailers, they establish a link between the producers and the customers. Now there are many agencies like warehousings, transportations and all. They help in the physical supply of the products. Now like there are many other facilitating functions also, like research and development, others. These are the facilitating functions which helps, like insurance companies, advertising agencies. They help in providing facilities, like advertising agencies. They help in creating the demand for the products. So these are called as facilitating functions. So all these, they are called as intermediaries and they help the business concerns in understanding the needs of the customers, as we have already discussed the first factor, that the customers, they are the most important, they are the king. And the producers, anyhow, they have to collect the informations about the customers, that what are the needs and taste of the customers, and they have to satisfy. If they want to be in the market, they have to satisfy the customers. That is the main thing. So these intermediaries, they are helping the business concerns and definitely they can affect. If they do not provide their services on time, definitely that is going to hamper the production areas and the producer will not be able to supply the products in time to the customers. Now the last one, that is the financiers. Who are the financiers? Financiers are the person, those who provide the financial help to the business concerns. Now business concerns, they need financial help for production, for meeting the needs of the business areas. They want working capital, they want fixed capital, they want working capital for meeting the day-to-day expenditures like payment of salaries, wages, payment of taxes, and meeting other different expenses. Now they also need fixed capital to buy the plant, machineries, equipments for modernization, for diversification, for expansion of the business concerns, for making different investment proposals, for entering into different investment proposals, for adopting new technologies, for hiring different technologies, because today they have to depend on advanced technologies. They're forced to adopt these technologies. They're bound to adopt these technologies. So for all these, they need financial help. So these financiers, they help, like financial institutions, debenture holders, shareholders. They provide financial help to the business concerns. As we have already discussed in class 11, that the public company can raise funds from the general public. The private company, they cannot raise, but public companies, they have the privilege of raising funds from the general public. So they can issue different types of shares like equity shares, preference shares and all. They issue all these shares and they can collect the fund and they can satisfy the needs of the business. So these are the financiers, those who provide the help. Suppose they are not providing the help, they are not providing the help to the customers, to the business concern, then what will happen? The business will not be able to produce the products on time. So this is a great need of the business concerns. So these debenture holders, these financial institutions, they provide financial help to the business concerns. And you cannot say that business can be self-sufficient and they can get dependent only on internal funds. Every business concerns keep a capital structure which includes both the internal as well as external funds. But still they have to keep in mind that it depends on the capacity of the firm, that how much borrowing funds they are using. If they are using the borrowing funds, they should have the capacity to pay the interest and they should earn equivalent to the cost of capital. Interest is the cost of capital. So the firm, those who have the potential of earning, the capacity of earning, they only borrow funds. So these financiers, they provide financial help to the business concerns and even they play a major role in the success of the business concerns. Now one more point that is left, that is public. This is the point, sixth point, that is the public. Now who all are included in public? As we have already discussed that business includes stakeholders, means stakeholders are those who are directly or indirectly they are affected by the functioning of the business and they can directly and indirectly influence also the functioning of the business concerns. Now this public can include the NGOs, environmentalists, media persons, all these are included as public. They can influence the business concerns. They can highly influence the business concerns because they are free. Freely they are working in the environment, in the external business environment. They can have both the positive as well as the negative impact on the business. Like you can take the example of big business concerns like Tata Motors, Wipro, Reliance Industries, Infosys. These are the big companies in India. They have maintained their image. They are responsive to the needs of the customers, to the aspirations of they are meeting to the aspirations of the customers. They are understanding them. They are satisfying, they are following the rules and regulations of the government. They are paying their taxes on time. They are following the rules and regulations of Environmental and Pollution Control Board. They are following all these things. They are satisfying the customers. They have the better working condition in their business organization. They are not only satisfying the external areas like financiers, competitors and the customers, but they are also satisfying the needs of the employees also. They are providing the better facilities to their employees also. That is why they are able to build up a good image. Now these media persons, they can have the positive as well as negative impact also on the business concerns. These were the examples of those business concerns, those who have a good impact on the business areas, and they are succeeding in maintaining their position, good position, maintaining their image. Reliance Industry, you have seen that they are on the top in the private sectors. They have a mission to be on the top, and that led them in the investment and launching their investment in petrochemicals and in other industries, and that made him, Mukesh Ambani, as the top in India. So they are able to maintain their image because they are satisfying the needs of the customers as well as all these environmentalists and media persons and everybody. And that is why they are able to build up a good image. There are other concerns also, like Satyam Computers. In 2009, there was a big placement in this company. But after that, they were manipulating their account books and showing a wrong picture to the shareholders. They did not since 3-4 years, and it was flashed in the news that in 2009, the company was totally devastated, destroyed. They were declared as bankrupt because they kept on inflating the items in the balance sheet, and they made a good picture. They're shown a good picture, and this was the reason. They thought that in the next year when they will make profit, they will compensate everything, but still they were not able to maintain their position, and they were out of the market and they were declared bankrupt. This is the situation, how the business concerns can maintain their position in the competitive environment and how they will be forced to quit out. Kingfisher, Sahara Company, all these companies are the examples where you can see that how those who are not satisfying the conditions of the government or of the country, they are not able to survive in this environment, business environment, and those who are satisfying the needs of everybody, those who are related directly or indirectly with the business concerns, they are able to succeed, maintain their position in the market. Now, these were the points related to the external factors of microenvironment. I am repeating it once more. There are the factors which are such as customers, competitors, suppliers, intermediaries, financiers, and public. So we discussed all these points in detail. These are the external factors. I hope it must be clear to you all and about all these external factors which we have discussed. Now we will move on towards the next part, that is the macro environment of the business, and this is also one of the most important part of the dimensions of business environment. Macro business environment. Now this macro business environment includes several factors and several components. And these components are called as economic environment. We will deal with all these points one by one. Let us begin with economic environment. Now, economic environment includes certain factors like factors and forces, which it includes factors and forces. It includes, that is, the means of production and distribution. Means of production and distribution. There are several components of this means of production and distribution, and these components can be economic planning, economic growth, in terms of gross domestic product, gross national product, net national product, etc. Industrial policy, monetary policy, fiscal policies, and so on. Many other points are also there, like infrastructural development, degree of competition also. Now, let us understand about this economic environment. This is the first component of this macro business environment. This macro business environment, as we know, it is also called as indirect action environment because it affects the functioning of the business indirectly, not directly. So this economic environment includes the means of production and distribution. Economic environment includes certain factors and forces, that is, the means of production and distribution. Now, the products are produced by the business concerns and they are to be distributed to the consumers. Now, there are several components that will help. This economic environment includes economic justice and social justice also. Economic justice means equitable distribution of income and wealth in the society. Distribution of wealth it is. So it includes the distribution of wealth. Economic justice means equitable distribution of income and wealth in the society. Whereas social justice means distribution of products to the customers at reasonable price, at reasonable time. This is called as social justice. So this economic environment deals with the economic justice as well as the social justice. Now this economic justice depends on the social justice. Now there are several other components that we will discuss to understand what the economic environment is and how that is going to affect the business concerns indirectly. Like economic planning. You must have heard of economic planning, the first 5-year plan that was established in the year 1951 after the constitution was held. In 1947, when India got independence, after partition, the whole economy was devastated. Most of the areas that was raw material producing areas that went to Pakistan, and industries were left in India. Now what is the use of those industries? From where will they get the raw material? So the whole economy was devastated. It was a situation of crisis, even the food crisis. The country had to import even the food crisis. It was called as a golden bird. But still, at that time, such crisis arose because of different situations that was prevalent at that time, that even the country had to import food from America and England, food products. Then in the year 1951, when the constitution was held, then the economic planning was established, and under that the first 5-year plan that was started, that is called as first 5-year plan in the year 1951, that is for 5 years. Now between sometimes it is reduced to 3 or 4 years because of certain circumstances, but normally it is planned for 5 years. In the first 5-year plan, most focus that was given on agricultural based industries. Very little investment was done on these big industries other than agricultural based industries like cement industries, iron and steel industries. And any country can be called as economically developed only when it is industrially developed. This very well India understood. But what to do? They could not do anything, because first of all they had to focus on the agricultural based industries, because they had to remove all this food crisis. Slowly and steadily they started raising the investment, increasing the investment in iron and steel industries and other big plants. And slowly and steadily we started moving ahead. Then in the new industrial policy in 1991, before that there were so many restrictions which the industries had to follow, and most of the areas that was in the hands of the government only. It was under the public sector enterprises, but because of the loopholes and the weaknesses of the public enterprises, the government decided to transfer the industries towards the private sectors also. So that is why, in accordance with that, the new industrial policy was established in the year 1991. And in the industrial policy 1991, the government was talking about the privatization, liberalization and globalization. We were talking about the open economy. So many restrictions like MRTP, Restricted Trade Practice Act, Monopoly Trade Practice Act. So many restrictions were there related to compulsory licensing and all that was removed. And it encouraged the private sectors to come forward. So the importance of private sectors increased after the industrial policy 1991. And this is the most important part. Now you can see how these policies are affecting the economic environment and the business environment. They are the part of the economic environment and how they are affecting the business environment. Now, after the industrial policy 1991, the importance of private sectors increased. Export-oriented industries, there was a rush of export-oriented industries, rush of all these multinational corporations, because we were talking about globalization. We took the whole world as a single unit. We were talking about foreign direct investment, and now the situation we can see. So this was only because of this different policies that was started by the government. Now different parameters are also there to measure the economic growth, like gross domestic product, net national product, gross national product. All these are parameters on which the growth of the country that is dependent. In today's environment, today you see what is the situation going on. RBI Governor Shakti Kant Das, he made certain announcement 3 days back that 50,000 crore investment that is going to be there in the financial sectors. he made these announcements so that he can maintain the liquidity, so that the liquidity situation can be maintained. Normally 50,000 crore investment that was made in NABARD, including Small Industries Development Bank of India and National Housing Corporations and all. Industries were, in these areas the investment is going to be made so that the liquidity can be maintained. He has also stated that they are assuming that the growth rate in this year can be 1.9%, which is very, very low. And you can see why. It is just because we are facing the situation of depression and recession. We are under the crisis. And it is just because of this situation which is prevailing, that is COVID-19. So these are the situations which the country has to face, and you can see how the business sectors, they are facing all these situations. Even the RBI governor has also announced that there will be reduction in a repo rate, that is only 0.25%, that is from 4%, that has been decreased to 3.75%. So these are the certain factors, they are the part of economic environment. There is also monetary policies, fiscal policies. Monetary policy is the policy related to the supply of money in the economy. How the supply of money in the economy can be increased, can be decreased. They are the inflation measuring control measures. If the supply of money in the economy that is to be increased, the bank rate is decreased, and that is done by the RBI. If the supply of money in the economy that is to be decreased, the bank rate is increased. So these are the situations how to maintain the stability in the economy. The business the government take different types of decisions. Fiscal policy is related to taxing, spending, lending, borrowing policies of the government. So all that is going to affect the business concerns indirectly, because the policies of the government, the decisions of the government, that is a part of economic environment, and that is going to affect the business environment indirectly. There are also certain points that is related to infrastructural development. Infrastructure means the communication facilities, the banking facilities, transportation facilities, proper drinking facilities, that comes under social infrastructure also. Insurance facilities, banking facilities, proper education facilities, transportation facilities, communication facilities, all these come under the infrastructural development. We here in our country, India, we are not following just-in-time technology. JIT, that is just-in-time technology, that is adopted by Japan. They have invented this technology, and almost most of the developed nations, they are using this technology because they have highly refined and developed infrastructural facilities, which we are not having. And that is why we are not able to use those technology. According to this technology, they are bringing the raw materials even at that time where it is to be issued to the production department. They are saving the go down charges, insurance charges, they can save that, and immediately it can be transferred to the production department. But they have a better infrastructural facility, better transportation facility, then only they are able to adopt these types of technologies. We are not having these types of transportation facilities, refined, developed transportation facilities. That is why we are not able to use these types of technology, and that is why somewhere we are lagging behind. Then degree of competition is also there, like perfect competition, imperfect competition, oligopoly, monopoly. All these situations can be there according to the policies of the government. Like foreign direct investment, the announcement made by the government related to FDI, that is going to have an impact. It can be positive also, it can be negative also on the business concerns. In positive way, if we can see that when foreign investment will be there, the employment opportunity will increase, the customers will get the better quality of product at reasonable price. But the other part also we should understand that it will be a big threat for the domestic industries. The domestic industries with limited resources, the small industries with limited resources will not be able to compete with these multinational corporations. So both the sides we have to take into consideration. So these are the different components of economic environment that is going to affect the business environment indirectly. Now let us move towards the other factor of this macro business environment, that is technological environment. This is the second factor of macro business environment, that is technological environment. It includes several points like growth in technology, advancement in technology, then it is changes in technology. Technological environment. This is the most important environment in today's era. If we see, this is the technology which we are using. If we see, because of the technological advancement only, today we are able to communicate with each other. Though we are having a problem, you can see, because of this situation, COVID-19, schools are closed. We are not able to go to school. You all are not able to go to school. So in this situation, it is just because of this technology only that we are able to communicate with each other. Just see, if those who invented this phone mainly, that is a purpose for communicating with each other. Conventionally, when this technology was developed, only it was with little functions. But nowadays you can see there are lots and lots of functions. We are having Android mobile, and in almost every house people are having Android mobile, and we are successfully using this technology. Otherwise, we would be sitting like that only if there was no technological advancement. So this is the best example of technological advancement. We cannot do anything. Definitely the things will change, because change is the law of nature. In every area, changes will take place. Conventionally, we were using labor-intensive techniques. Now we are using capital-intensive techniques. Even in agricultural area, you can see there are modernization, machines, equipments are used for harvesting and for many other things, for plowing the field and all they are using different modern techniques. For irrigation, they are using many techniques, and that is why we can see a growth in the production areas, growth in agricultural production. That is why, because of this advancement, we are using different types of technology even in those areas. We are using different methods of production, different technologies in producing the products. Then only we are going to survive in this competitive environment. The growth of technology, the advancement of technology, the changes in technology, that is the part of technological environment. It will be there, changes will be there, and we have to adapt ourselves to these changing circumstances. Continuously, the firms will have to invest money in research and development so that they can scan the environment, they can understand that what type of technology, what type of machines, equipments the competitors are using, and so that they can also develop those technologies, they can also hire those technologies, because today we are talking about open economy. It is an era of globalization. We can bring the resources, we can bring the technology from different other countries of the world, and we can adopt those technologies. So this is a part of technological environment. The changes in technology, definitely that is going to affect the business environment, and what the business environment has to do, that continuously they have to scan the environment and they have to adapt themselves to these changing technologies. Then only they can survive in this competitive environment. Otherwise they will not be able to survive. Like in your school also, you can see previously we were using only that whiteboard, but now there are smart boards. You can easily save anything over there. So what is that? That is the technological advancement. That is the need of the hour, and that is why we are using. We are bound to use all those technologies. That is why we are successful. So these are the examples of this technological environment. We have 3 more factors under this macro business environment that we will discuss in the next lecture. Today we have discussed about the micro environment external factors, that is about the competitors, customers, suppliers, intermediaries, financiers, public, and we have also discussed in detail about the direct competitors, indirect competitors, replacement competitors, and many more things. And then we discussed about the macro business environment, and in that we discussed about the economic environment, as well as we have discussed about the second component, that is technological environment. Still 3 more environment are left to be discussed under this macro environment, that is the social environment, political and legal environment. This we will discuss it in the next lecture. Thank you very much.